Welcome to the Joy Inspired podcast. I'm Nikki Cruise, and I'm thrilled to explore with you what it means to walk in a faith-infused business. This is your space to find powerful tools and insights to build with resilience and to create impact through your unique purpose, discovering a joy that only God can provide. Together, let's embrace a business journey anchored in faith and empowered by joy. Let's jump in. Well, hey, friends. Welcome back to the Joy Inspired podcast. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Nikki Cruise, and I'm your host. I'm also your cheerleader. I'm known as the Joy Junkie because I believe that God has given us so much joy. And when you don't feel it, it doesn't mean it's gone. It's still there. And in every week's podcast, we want to bring out that joy. Because when we walk in alignment with God, with our faith, passion, and purpose, there is joy to be had. And I'm here today with a very special guest. So I'm going to encourage you, if you're watching this recording, grab a beverage, grab your drink, grab a notepad and pen, because God always drops such powerful words of wisdom and just things that you might want to record. If you're driving, please don't grab a beverage, don't grab a pen, because remember, you can always come back and you can always re-listen. But this is a space where you get to be your joyful self. You get to hear and be empowered. Because I don't believe that God has given us a calling or a purpose so that our joy can burn out. And today's guest helps us not burn out. And this, we have so much alignment. If you've been in my world for a while, you know that I talk about being aligned with God, not exhausted, not burnt out. And today's conversation is going to be especially powerful for those of you who feel stretched a little bit too thin, who feel overwhelmed because behind the scenes, you're sitting there going, I don't know if I can manage. But on the outside, you're smiling and pretending that everything's okay. Where you feel like your business has started running you instead of you running your business. Hey, I've been there. I've felt that. And if you're in that place, then you get to take a breath. You get to hear and listen. Because we're talking about support systems, leadership, faith, delegation, growth, and building in a way that is sustainable. Because when you build based on faith and with the right structure, and with God, things don't just fall over. But sometimes when we feel the pressure, when we feel like we've lost the joy, it's a signal something is wrong. So please help me welcome my amazing guest, Diana James.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Nikki, and I'm so great to be here.
Diana, welcome to the Joy Inspired podcast. I'm excited to have you here, especially because we have so much alignment, but also I know that so many entrepreneurs out there are listening, but they're also trying to do all the things themselves. And inside, they're secretly feeling exhausted. And they're saying, I don't know if I can cope. And before we jump into strategy and business growth and what you do, I'd love for our listeners to get to know you a little. Who is Diana Grace James beyond the business owner title?
Okay, thank you for that question, Nikki. So my name is Diana and I am a mom. So I'm a boy mom. So I have two kids. So my one is will just turn 5 this year, and I have another one. My youngest will turn 4 this year. And I'm married. I'm a Christian. I also do discipling in our local church. But aside from that, I've been in this industry. So yeah, for almost 6 years. And yeah, I love to connect. I love not just only to connect, but to bridge the gap. And I also do VA coaching, and I am also a full-time pledged virtual assistant agency owner here in the Philippines.
And wow, you do so much to give back. You do a lot
Yeah.
at your community, and you're a mom, and you're doing all the things. And one of the reasons you managed to do that, because you've got strategy and structures in place. And you started out as a virtual
Yeah.
assistant, working behind the scenes, and you just watched. Can you take us back to that season? What were you seeing that made you realize there has to be a better way of doing things?
Yeah, so way back, I just want to share a little bit story about how I started as a freelancer. So way back during pandemic, that was 2020. And you know what? It is really funny because during that pandemic, I was starting my family, meaning that is the time wherein I build my family, I got married, um, I have my firstborn and then my second one, and it's really challenging that time because who would someone thought that you are building your family during, crisis, global crisis, right? So it had to push me a lot when it comes to disciplining myself and when it comes to, reaching my goal. And it's hard for me that time because freelancing industry for me that time, I have no idea because I've been in the industry in marketing here in my local area for almost 2 years, and I thought that was my dream job. And then pandemic came. So yeah, I really had a, I would say, bad transition that time because I am transitioning from, with no idea. I just had to push myself that I need to have an online job that time to survive the family because everybody is affected with the global crisis, right? And funny because I have to build my family that time. So yeah, there's no bad season when you see that, you have your faith and you see that everything has to happen.
Yeah,
So from there, I have to find a group. So usually as a freelancer, everyone has to, they say that you have to harass someone for you to be able or
yeah.
them to be able to see you as someone that could help them. So I've been in the group, like a freelancing group, virtual assistant group, business owner group to find the right client for me. And you know what? Um, to make the long story short, someone reached out to me and say, "Hey, can you do this? Can you do that?" And then I, boldly say, "Yes, I can do this." And then that made, a history. And now I become a freelancing, not just only a freelancer, but a virtual assistant agency owner for 5 years almost.
Wow. And there's quite a journey yet there. And I think so many of the entrepreneurs can relate to that because we sit in a situation where we think there has to be more, there's got to be more. And sometimes we just step out. And I love what you said, you have to harass people so they notice you. And yes, we do because we have to become visible, we have to be seen. And you've heard
Yeah.
Diana James talk about her community and talk about her family. You've heard her accent. She's from the Philippines. So,
Yeah.
all the way from there, she brings so much power to clients across the world because she has found that as she's learned to build her own business, so she can help other Christian entrepreneurs build theirs. And one of the things that you said you are a woman of faith. And faith has become the foundation of how you build your company, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
tell us about that. What did trusting God look like while building something that was growing slowly and steadily that You were boldly standing before the throne of grace saying, I'm stepping into this. How did faith play a role in that for you?
You know what? Before I went to this industry, like like putting a business online, I remember there were friends that telling me that that's not gonna happen. Like, finding or building your online career, because I wanna tell you, Nikki, I've done a lot. So from before putting myself there and position myself for someone that I can help with the online business. So I tried before, like, posting, selling online, selling products, and selling clothes, selling food, anything that you can, think of. I sell it online. But everything that I did back then wasn't working.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I think I stop from there, then nothing's gonna change, right, with my situation that time. That's why I really value that the time wherein I put myself there. I sell everything just to survive, because it challenged my faith. And
Yes.
then I find out that that urge is not from me anymore, it's from God. And the way I sell before, it helps me a lot, like helping now with that skill. I can also help some of my clients with that skill when it comes to the marketing, when it comes how to position themselves also, especially their business online. So I have a different training, right? But to be honest, at first, I don't have any, I would say, certificate that I am a virtual assistant. But because of my past experience, the way I sell my things online, I was trained with that skill. And without, faith, again, you cannot interview me because I have no story to tell. So I think, yeah, Faith really did a lot of work, not only just putting up online business for me, but also helping my past client and up till now. And yeah, I really love helping them because I have to help them,
Yeah.
because I have, number one, I can pray for their business. when they
Yes.
when they hire us, I can pray for their business, and I can share also my faith and be the cheerleader for them.
Oh, that's amazing. And you said so much in that, so much that so many of us entrepreneurs can relate to deeply. You know, where you go and you do things and they're just not working. Because when you're not in
Yeah,
alignment, that happens. But just like Diana said there, God doesn't throw what experience you've had out. When He draws you into alignment, when you step into your calling and your purpose, He uses what's behind the scenes. He's using her skills in her current business, but not only that, but to empower others. So just remember, nothing is ever wasted. God will always say to you, look at what's in your hand. Look at what's there. Your experience is everything else. And with faith, God puts those in the right place when you are in alignment. But if things aren't working, excuse me, when things aren't working, you start to feel less joy. And that's where you get to examine it. And Diana got to look and say, this isn't working. It's not bringing in the money. Okay. Or this isn't working because nobody's seeing me. And all of that has helped her build what she does now because she's built a business that helps you and I overcome those challenges that she had. And yeah, she doesn't have a certificate, but God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And there are so many people who do not step into what God's calling them to because they say, I'm not certified, I'm not qualified. God's calling is all the qualification you need. Now, I'm not saying don't study,
Yeah.
don't research, don't learn, but don't be held back because you don't have a certification. It's such a big thing. I hear so many people say, why haven't you launched your program? Well, I'm not a certified coach. You know, the certification comes in the integrity you stand in. And there are many certified coaches who have just gone through a process and got a certificate. But the life experience certifies you for a lot. So, Diana, you are certified. You're certified by the life
Mhm.
journey. And so are the rest of you out there. I'm not saying don't learn and become certified. If God calls you to do that, be obedient.
Yeah.
But I would love to know more about exactly how you help clients because one of the things you do as a VA, and you've now not just been a VA, you've built an agency, you've built a whole system to help other people. How does having a VA help an entrepreneur? Why is it a good idea?
I think just like for me, I have my own executive virtual assistant who helps me when it comes to managing the repetitive tasks. I think that's where VA came in, or that's where you know that you need the virtual assistant, because you know that some repetitive tasks could be delegated, and there is power in delegation because you are just duplicating yourself. And I really love that concept because you can duplicate yourself without, you can duplicate yourself by saving more time. So those time you can delegate it by learning and growing your business. And for the past 6 years, my business is, I would say, slowly getting there. But I would say it's better to be like that, like slowly building, so you can see the ins and out of your business, right? And I've been working with so many VAs, and I think it's really important that you find your good dedicated virtual assistant, or I would say sidekick, right? Because it's really important that you have the right team.
Yeah,
And for me, for almost 6 years, I think I could say right now that I can, gladly say that I found my right team right now. And it's been a journey for me having the right team for me to be able to grow slowly and scale. So yeah, so if you are looking for a virtual assistant, I think you have to think about those repetitive tasks. And once you upload those repetitive tasks, now think about what will be the time, or those time that were saved. Where are you going to put it?
yeah,
Where are you going to allocate it? Because if you don't know, then I think it's just also a waste of time, right? You have to put it to something that is growing, something that is seeding or planting
yeah.
for your business.
Oh, I love that. Because so many of us sit and think we want to do it all. When you start your business, this is your baby. And it is so hard to let go of some of those tasks. You want to be in control of it all. But when you're in
Yeah.
control of it all, you aren't actually doing what you're called to do. Because I'm sorry, those of you who know me will totally agree. I am not called to be a tech person. Definitely not. Do I get to have basic knowledge so I know how to work it in my business? Yes. But I get to give that to somebody who's passionate and loves it and gets excited about it so that I can have time to be excited and passionate about my coaching.
Mhm.
But there is a cost to it. Look at what the cost is worth. because those hours are so important. And that's often where we become our own bottlenecks in our business. And we are all building businesses to have an impact. Let me tell you, if I was doing all my own tech, that impact would be very interesting. My impact of my message would be minimized, and the impact of everyone looking and going, she just don't have it together, would be expanded. So I choose to hand that over to someone else. So, what would you say, Diana, are some of the indications or signs that a business owner is actually becoming the own bottleneck in their business growth? Where they are holding their business back from growing. What are the signs?
Well, if you have a, urge that you want to do more, but you cannot do more because you're doing it all by yourself, I think that's the biggest sign that, hey, you need to, sit down, write those tasks, and then, hand it over to someone
Yeah,
because you cannot be one team show, right? Or one man show, I say.
yeah, yeah. And I think, as well as the desire being there, when you start feeling burnt out, when your business is growing and successful and you are still feeling burnt out or overwhelmed, you know, overwhelmed isn't proof that you're successful. That's a badge of honor that a lot of
Mhm.
entrepreneurs have worn that is now out of fashion. And it doesn't belong to us as faith-centered entrepreneurs. But if you're exhausted, that's not really success. And then
Yeah.
isn't it time to hand off some of those tasks? So,
Yeah. I
what,
remember, Nikki, if I may say this, I remember I've been in so many networking international in US, in Australia, in Canada, and there is a feeling of me that I want to connect with my fellow business owners, but I don't have any time. And I think that is being one of my bottleneck that time because I wanted to be there, be visible, be there as someone that is, having this kind of business. But it's hard for me that time because I need to handle my social media. I need to check my emails. I need to edit some videos because I'm doing a podcast for my virtual assistant career as a coach, and it's really taking me, it is slowing me down, and I don't want to get that feeling anymore. That's why that time I say to myself that, hey, I need to trust. Even though my first virtual assistant that time were like miles away from me, but in the end of the day, you have to trust because you have that goal. You have to be there. You need to position yourself that someone that is, being helpful. And people will not see that if you are trying to do everything on your own.
absolutely. And you might have built your own little structure and you might be
Yeah.
building, but that structure will not hold solid if you want to scale and grow bigger and have greater impact, greater kingdom impact. It's going
Yeah.
to take faith and trust, and let the Holy Spirit lead you in finding that perfect team. But there's so often in those moments of pressure, and you've spoken about it when you talk about needing to connect with people. Have there been
Yeah.
moments where you have had to choose integrity over convenience or pressure to stand up for what you believe in your business?
Yeah, I think I remember, like, I'm a Christian entrepreneur and I love supporting purpose-led business, especially Christian-led, business. And there are moments that, I need to get the money, the paycheck coming, but I cannot serve someone that it doesn't align with my morals and value, and I have to say no to them I have to point them to different, different business that can support them. So it's really hard for me that time because for me to be able to support my family and to support, my people, I have to keep my paycheck coming. But I have to put my integrity first, right? By
Absolutely.
saying no, by saying, hey, we don't do that. I think we're not the best fit to for you to yeah, we're not the best fit for your business. And it's really hard to say no, especially when you're a Christian, but you have to put God first, right?
Absolutely. And that difficult decision, God honors and God rewards. And you're still
Mhm.
here, so obviously God worked it out. Doesn't mean it's easy, no, but you
Yeah.
get to stand in your faith. So, quick question. What are two or three tasks business owners should stop holding on to first?
Okay. Number one, the admin thing. Please dedicate it to someone. You cannot be checking your email 24/7, right? Or, filtering inbox 24/7. So, if you can delegate that, then you'll be fine. I want to tell you that you're doing great with that. Second is the social media. Hey, you cannot be, creative. I know that you are creative, you're artist, but you have to delegate those tasks to your virtual assistant. And I would say, as a business owner, it is really important that you know your business. It's okay to do it at first, but when it, but when the right time will come, like, hey, you need to be there, you need to connect, you need to network, you need to grow your community. That's the time that you can handle or you can hand off those tasks to your virtual assistant, to your virtual assistant. So admin, social media, or email management or email marketing, I say, then yeah, I
I
think that's a great
absolutely love
start
that. I
to
love
get your
that.
virtual
And
assistant.
I know when I started, I thought, oh, but I can't lose control. I've got to be putting me out there. Well, if I
Yeah.
know my business well enough, I can communicate it to my virtual assistant. And when there's something that needs my personal response on an email,
Mhm.
my VA, in fact, I call her my office success manager because my business could not run without her. She she actually draws my attention to that particular email. But the run of the mill email she deals with, the sending emails out, she deals with. So, what kind of impact do you hope that your work leaves on your family, leaves on your clients, and the people you meet?
I think right now, if you will ask me, am I having an impact? I say yes, because I am not just sending virtual assistant to our clients, connect them and match them, but what I can see is I am helping them build their success story. And I remember we have one client who started their business as an online business coaching, but because of our support, she won as a marketing business of the year. That was 2023. And one more thing is that having, reclaiming the time, for our clients, and to put those time with their family and growing their business. I think that is the huge impact that we already bring to our clients. Plus this VA, my people that I have, is that they are also building their family because of the opportunity that I was able to share with them. Because I can eat, this is what I really tell to my student. I can gatekeep this.
Yeah.
I can I can gatekeep this and enjoy only the opportunities that I have just only for me and for my family. But that is not the legacy that I want to put here in the world. I just wanna, share those opportunities because, in the end of the day, this is what I say to them. Life is short, right? And I really wanna make sure that I use my time wisely and build something wisely.
That's beautiful. And I know that when we've spoken, you've talked about giving opportunities and opening opportunities to people in your community. And
Mhm.
that is a beautiful empowerment where you give back. Very powerful. Now, you
Thank
actually
you.
have a gift for our listeners. So, for those of you who are driving, do not panic. You do not need to write any of these details down. They are all in the description and the show notes. You can look for them there. However, Diana, what is the gift that you are giving our audience today?
Okay, so if you feel that this is the right moment for you to hire a virtual assistant, so don't worry, I will give you a task delegation checklist for you to begin and see what will be the repetitive tasks that you need to delegate. So all you have to do is just go there, click that button, and then download it.
Wow. And so if you're sitting there thinking, what would I hand over? There's the solution. You've already been helped with that. Isn't that a powerful
Yeah.
VA move? And Diana, this has been such a beautiful and faithful conversation, learning about you. Thank you for sharing not only your wisdom, but also your heart and your journey
Thank
with
you,
us.
Nikki.
And how can our listeners get hold of you? Where will they find you? And again, you don't have to write it all down.
Yeah. So you can find me on my socials. So we have website as well. So you can type there. It's www.iane, James, virtualsolution.com. And then you can have all those free resource, not only the one that I mentioned here, but we have different resource. We have also educational resource for someone that would, like to venture virtual assistant, yeah, you can go there.
Very nice. Thank you. And on the social, it's Diana Grace James. And I love the
Yeah, thank you,
grace in
Nikki, for
there.
that.
So,
Yeah,
for everybody listening, if you know somebody else who might benefit from this conversation, please feel free to share this with them. Please go and say to them, listen to this. There is opportunity out here. Perhaps it's time you stepped out of burnout in your business and got a VA. So, because we're called, but we're not called to be exhausted or to build something being exhausted. We're called to be aligned. And part of that is just releasing that control. So, for all of you out there, this is how you get to reclaim your joy if you feel like you've lost it. This is how you can go from being burnt out to just building in alignment. And Diana, any last words for our listeners?
well, I just want to thank you all. I'm so blessed to be here. And if you feel that there is surge or there is urge that God is talking to you to build something, do it now. Don't wait for next day. Do it now. Just do it now. It's your calling.
Absolutely, because if you don't step into your calling, you become frustrated. And we don't want that. What we want to do is have you living a life of abundant joy. So I'd love to have your comments. Don't forget to leave a hi below. And thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for joining us for the Joy Inspired podcast. Until next time, keep building with joy. Bye, all. Thank you so much for joining me on the Joy Inspired podcast at www.joyinspiredpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming and you don't want to miss it. So make sure to hit that subscribe. I am so grateful for all the reviews and comments, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.